Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Old Grey Bricks, summertime edition. We have just a few of us tonight. In the chat, we have Grumpy J. Hello, Grumpy J. So it's myself. We have Matthew. We have Jeff. And yeah, summertime. A lot of people are out doing things, going places. Sort of a quiet show tonight.
Especially with flea mark having the new malaria.
Nice.
Oh, it's just pediatric germs. That's what happens when you have a child that goes to camp and shares germs with the other kids and brings it home. Hello, Fat Daddy Bricks in Kansas. How's it going? Thanks for joining us. So, yeah, we're all just sort of hanging out, throwing some bricks around.
Oh, are we actually supposed to throw bricks?
Well, that's up to you.
There, I threw one. Sorry, bricks, why not? Because I just threw your brick around. Because that's the one I had handy. Why would Lego people go places?
Well, there are Lego conventions in the summertime as well.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, Brick Rodeo's this weekend. It's actually already going on.
Brick Rodeo.
Yeah.
Where's that one going on?
It's Houston, Texas.
Houston, okay.
Yeah. I think that one's rotates, I think. I know the previous one used to, Brick Fiesta, I think they used to rotate. So I don't know if Rodeo is doing that now or not.
I'm pretty sure you're right because one of the Texas people came up to me and handed me a little minifig invite to Brick Rodeo, and it said, I think it's in Sugarland this year, which is suburban.
Yeah, Sugarland. Yeah.
If I remember correctly.
Okay.
Not this year, but who knows? Maybe one of the summers. I can work that into one of my county road trip thingies. So,
yeah, how many counties have you hit in Texas?
I'm about
just give us 5 minutes, by the way.
20% of Texas. Okay. There's a lot of Texas left.
Well, there's a lot of Texas to begin with, right?
There's a lot of Texas to begin with. That's exactly right. So we are not close. And to be perfectly honest, Texas is not my favorite state. Just, it doesn't have a ton of mountains. There's a lot of very wide open, flat areas in the west. I haven't spent much time in East Texas. Some of that can be nice.
But that's like the closest part to you.
It is. It's funny, like I lived in Arkansas as a kid, and we only went to Texas once, and that was to go to Six Flags Over Texas, which was at that time like the closest amusement park where we lived. So we drove down there. So the big news at my house is not Lego. It is we adopted 2 8-week-old kittens. Hence my screen name for today is You Must Be Kitten Me. They are boy and girl, twins from the same litter. And we've decided that they're going to be named Luke and Leia. So, and I didn't push hard on this, even though I'm like the big Star Wars fan in the household. I sort of tossed it out there and let my husband Thomas think about it. He's like, it just makes a lot of sense because they are boy, girl, litter mates. And so I'm like, oh, I like it. So, Thomas, though, has not left their side since we brought them home. It's like hovering over them, watching them, giving me play-by-play. Oh, they're asleep. Oh, one of them's awake now. Usually in the afternoons, he goes upstairs to his writing area and he works on writing stuff. And we brought the cat carrier in the house, and he said something about, like, I don't know, like where should we put them? And I said, well, you're not going to go upstairs today. I already know that because you're going to want to watch them. He goes, oh, you're right. But they're little enough that he's worried they'll fall off the couch and hurt themselves. I'm like, well, they're kittens. They're basically almost plastic. Not to
Yeah,
say it's possible, but
and they usually land on their feet eventually.
and there's
Yeah.
that too. So
Yeah.
but we got this really big one of those big tubs that people put Lego in, and
Mhm.
so they're in the tubs and they're young enough that they're not strong enough to jump out of it yet. That will change shortly, I'm assuming, but right now they can't leap out of it, so they are kind of penned in where we can keep an eye on them. They are quite cute.
You could have called them brick and plate.
Yeah, that's not
I know.
catchy.
I'm just being.
That's kind of clunky. Kind of clunky, I think. But if you want to see pictures, jump on my Instagram. There's a little 30-second video of them grooming each other. It's quite cute.
Oh, jeez. Cat dad.
Yeah. Well, we had a orange female before, which are famously very territorial and they don't like sharing their space with other animals. And that was definitely her. And when she passed away this spring, I said, well, I don't want to adopt anyone until we have a chance to do a road trip, a lengthy road trip where we don't have to feel guilty about leaving young kittens or a dog behind. And so we got that done. And so we got back. We were in the cat adoption criteria window, whatever you want to call it. I think we're still going to get a dog, but we're going to kind of wait for the kitties to establish themselves in the house before we bring another critter in.
Oh, you're thinking of expanding? Adding more?
What's that?
I'm sorry, you're thinking of adding more or getting like a third cat or a dog or something? Or?
Thomas just really wanted a dog for a while, and I think the dog would be good for him. He would walk it, and I told him, if we get a dog, it's 100% your responsibility to walk the dog, because what I don't want him to say is, I'm having a bad day, can you go walk the dog? I want him to walk the dog every day to get him out, even on bad days.
Yeah.
And so he agreed that if we get a dog, his dog he's responsible for it. I'm like, I felt like the parent that when kids are like, we want a dog, you'd be like, well, if you clean the litter, if you have to walk it every day, I'm not going to walk it.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that never works.
We have dog sat our friend's dog a couple of times. He's very, very attentive to the dog's needs. And even on days where he's not feeling great, I know he would get out and walk the dog rather than have it just be unhappy inside. So I'm supportive, even though I'm more of a cat person. So we'll see. He's kind of leaning towards a corgi, and those are not. You can't just go out and get a corgi at a drop of a hat. So he's going to sign up for the corgi rescue group in Atlanta, and if one comes along, then maybe we'll get a corgi. So we'll see.
Corgis are adorable, but they are not low maintenance dogs.
We are very aware of that. One of the things that we have going for us is that he's here all the time. So, he would be here to interact with the dog. We won't be, other than occasional summer vacations, the dog is not going to be left unattended for long periods of time, which they're a herding dog. They need something to manage. So now
they need activity. They need exercise. They shed a lot.
What dog doesn't shed a lot?
Well, it varies. That definitely varies.
Asking for a friend. What dog doesn't shed?
Schnauzers.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was going to say the unfurry ones.
The one thing I did say is no hairless cats. I know that people love their hairless cats, but I think they're ugly personally. So I was like, no. Not interested in a hairless cat.
Oh, jeez. So I'm facing a little dilemma. I've got lots of castle guys and I don't have enough helmets to actually, group them properly. And I'm 2 weeks from our show, so I guess I won't be finishing those guys off. or I'll
Uh-oh.
be using hair, and they'll just be random citizens.
Well, that's the curse of being a Lego fan is there's always parts that you need more of or you don't have enough of.
Yeah.
Even though you have a whole room in your house dedicated to Lego.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I don't have enough of those.
Two, you need to build helmets out of other parts.
Okay, Matt, you get right on that. And when you when you design some, let me see them, and I won't giggle.
It'll be like Darth helmet, like oversized brick built helmets.
Yeah, I've got lots of minifig hair. I'll probably just go that way. But anyways, what can you do? I guess just order or add all the helmet different colors and combinations onto my Bricklink list, and whenever I see them and I want to spend like $3 for some of these helmets, then do it.
I wish you were not across the international border because I would just mail you some helmets, but it would cost $24 to mail you anything.
Oh, I know. Which is weird because it only cost me $9.50 to mail something to the United States under like 100 grams, whatever many ounces that is.
It's the gravitational pull of the international border.
Yeah. No, it's just when it comes into when it crosses the border, it gets handled by our postal agency, and they charge more to ship within the country.
Do they? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
I suspect ours is the opposite. That the better rate is if you're shipping within the U.S.
Yeah.
And you can't ship a Lego piece for less than $24 outside because they consider it a package. So even if it's a minifig, it has to be a package.
So we can ship parts as letter mail in Canada.
Okay.
But technically it's not allowed, but they don't prevent you from doing it. I know, like, as soon as you ship something out overseas, or like across the border, then the first thing you get asked is this paper only? Like, if you're trying to do letter mail. But yeah, I'm looking at my shipping rates for stuff I've shipped out from Canada, and the cheapest I see is like $16 to ship within Canada.
Wow. Okay.
So,
yeah.
And that's
I can mail a padded envelope for as little as $5. So if it's like one minifig, I can ship it for $5 or $6.
I can mail a figure across the country, across Canada, for $2.19.
But I can ship a package for $10.50, like a small lightweight package.
Yeah. Hey, Aubrey's in the chat. Hey, Aubrey.
Hey, Aubrey, come and save us from postal.
Hey, Aubrey, come be a chatter with us.
Something more interesting than postal rates and international mailing.
And castle stuff.
Hey, we had cat adoption talk. That was pretty sexy.
We had what? Oh, cat.
Adoption talk.
Yes. If you're into furry, hairy things. I guess furry, hairy kind of is the same thing. But anyways.
Jeff, did you see the pool this summer? I didn't see any pictures, Facebook pictures of you in your outdoor pool.
The pool did not go up this year.
See, I noticed there were no pool photos.
Yeah, just because I didn't put it up last year, so the sandy area kind of grew over with grass a bit, or weeds. Let's face it, it's weeds. And it's a lot of work to set up, and my kid was never around to help me set it up.
Well, if we come up for Bricks in the Six next year, we fully expect to have a pool party.
Yeah, you can stay at the hotel and have a pool party there. My pool's like 3 or 3.5 feet deep.
No, we wanted to come out to exotic Peterborough, Peterborough, Ontario, so we could visit the Steve Eiserman Hall of Fame that I'm sure is there in town.
Yeah, I still have to look that up. The problem is trying to spell Eiserman. There's just too many Y's.
Well, it's like your airports. YZZ, YYY.
Oh, I got it right away. YZER. Aubrey, I haven't seen the pad wall. I've heard that the new parts are out, and I haven't personally gone. I don't know if the boys have gone because they're a lot closer to local options.
I'm not. Let me get the chat open. Is she talking about when you say the boys? You mean us, or you mean
you two? I mean you two. You guys are closer to the Lego store than I am, so I just haven't been to a Lego store.
People have been chatting about it on the Discord, but I'm an hour's drive from either Lego store, so I
Okay.
haven't either.
So I don't know which Aubrey is talking to us, but
Dark Aubrey.
one of the Aubreys came in while I was filling my cup. So I'm assuming if it's
That Aubrey. Yeah.
It's our local Aubrey who's
Well,
talking to us.
I mean, you didn't want to make assumptions. It could have been the other one, just checking in on the old gray book chat. But no, I offered her my, I had a full cup of the white masonry brick, and I was like, I just ordered these on bulk lug. I'm like, if you want my entire cup, I'll just give it to you, because it was gone. Like, other people had filled their cups, and during the time period when I started, there were still quite a few there. But by the time I was done stacking, they were all gone. And I think a lot of the nougat was gone too. But the thing I liked was the little tiny pine coney shaped plastic molded trees were there, and I got a full cup of that.
What color were they? Just the regular green?
Regular green, yeah. The short, pine.
Yeah,
Short Christmas trees shaped ones. And what else did they have? They had
nougat masonry. Nougat.
Yep. Nougat. They had dark green leaf fronds, which I got a full cup of that, and I stuck them all together. What else did they? So they had a couple. It's a couple interesting.
Aubrey's saying she got so many of the trees, and I haven't bought those trees for so long because I have a bin full of. Well, I won't say a bin full of them, but I've got enough of them that I just never use them for anything anymore.
It's the kind of thing I would use if I had a permanent town layout set up in the basement, which I might do next year. Actually, I'm kind of just saying, well, you know what? We may never finish the basement, so if I actually want to do a full town layout, there's just no space in my Lego room, so it would have to be in the basement.
Your basement is definitely large enough.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it totally is.
Yeah, you came to. I guess we did go to.
Yeah, we saw the cardboard collection in the basement.
Yeah. Mini boxes.
What's everybody working on? Aubrey's asking.
I am completing. So twice a year I sort because I learned the hard way that I will perpetually sort nonstop and never build if I just allow myself, because I find sorting very relaxing. So I had a new rule I came up with at the start of COVID that I only sort twice a year. Winter sort and a summer sort. So we are in the summer sort, coming back from Brickworld from part straps, and then I still hadn't finished putting away all my bulk lug. So, bulk lug arriving is a good time to do the sort.
Yeah,
so I've been doing that. Jeff,
cool.
You're castling.
Yeah, I've finished my castle, like building and scenery building. What's the words I'm looking for? The landscaping and building my building. So now I'm just wrestling with trying to figure out some figs, but I don't have enough helmets for them, which I was saying a few minutes ago. And then I got to start doing the details. I'm gonna need to build some ships and stuff, which I was hoping to. Well, I plan to do this weekend. I'm kind of holding off on doing it just because I'm not sure how it'll go.
When you say ships, do you mean sailing vessels or do you mean spaceships?
No, sailing vessels, like castle-aged ships of some sort. And I mean, I have a couple of the small boat hulls, which I'll use, like the small rowboats, but I actually want to build a slightly bigger ship to be sitting in the port.
You're going to need a bigger boat?
Yeah, I'm going to need a bigger boat, definitely. But I have to look into how to design it and stuff. I haven't really played with that yet, so yeah. Mark, what are you doing?
Oh, not too much. I was just tinkering with some parts, and I don't know. It didn't really turn into anything, so I sort of sorted the parts and put them back, and I don't know.
Is that part of your method? You just get out. I know I think you're a big table scrap person. You just like getting parts out and putting them together and seeing if something grabs you.
I mean, sometimes. I don't know.
Hopefully, you guys don't hear that.
Sometimes, no, sometimes I have a strong idea, and sometimes I don't. And I was just playing with some parts to see if it would turn into an idea, and it didn't really. So I don't know.
So one of my favorite things that you built is when you made the crabulon.
Oh yeah.
I love that. And I noticed that at Brickworld, somebody left one of the little crabs as their token.
Wow.
Which is an expensive token, I think, because the crabs are cheap.
Oops.
But it made me think of the crabulon. I'm like, I'm pretty sure this isn't Mark, but the first thing I thought of when I saw it was Mark, the crabulon.
No, I haven't been giving out crabs.
Okay. We don't need to know about your dating life.
Why do all the female minifig heads have red lipstick on? Have you ever noticed that? At least most of them do. Like I've got some here that are bright red lips, and it's like pretty sure in medieval times they weren't wearing lipstick.
Well, that's classic yellow heads.
Yeah, I know.
They ate a lot of cherries, maybe. I don't know. Or grapefruit. Well, no, they probably wouldn't have had grapefruit in medieval times. Not tropical enough.
Well, yeah, probably not actually.
So the other thing that I didn't mention last Thursday when we did our little go around, I wanted to leave more time for our guests, was the Eiffel discount day, and I made some major purchases. I went over. I had a wish list of things sets that I would like to own, and I expected only certain, like the sets under $100 would be available for the Eiffel discount day. And I started asking, though, about a few more expensive sets. And to my surprise, several of them were eligible. So I ended up getting the brand new extension on Ninjago Cities, the latest, the fourth segment of Ninjago City.
That one was on deal? That was part of the discount?
I asked, and she's like, it's not on the list. Let me see if it scans. Let me see if I can scan it and do the 15%. And it did. She's like, you can get it.
Wow.
Out. I was shocked because usually when a set first becomes available, sometimes they change it in later discount days and you can get it. But typically the first discount day, it's not going to be eligible if it's over 100. So I was like, okay, great. And then I was planning to get the other two Star Wars helmets that I've not yet gotten. And but then I said, well, hey, what about the Titanic over there? And I really expected the answer to be no. And she's like, well, I don't know. Let me try. Let me see if it'll ring up. And so she comes back and she's like, yeah, it's eligible. You want to get one? And I was like, oh, wasn't planning that much. And two of our locals from the lug, Dooley's, Drews, and Trish were there, and they were like, oh, come on, do it. You want it. I'm like, we're talking 4 digits here if I can get both of these sets. But I thought, well, what other chance am I going to get 15% off a set? And then there was a GWP that I would flip, and I had $50. I had $100 in return sets.
Oh, okay.
I bought doubles. Well, Jeff, you know this. I bought doubles of a number of the sets for Brickworld.
Yeah.
And this year they were very strict about only one person can draft one set, and so I had duplicates, a fair number of those.
That's why you were trying to pawn them off on me. You say, hey, you want to? That makes more sense.
I mean, I was going to take them back. I was genuinely offering them out of the goodness of my heart because I know.
I get that. I was just saying.
But that's why I had 2 of all the set drafts I was planning to participate in because last year they were very lax about that. I was like, well, if they're going to be lax about it, I'll draft 2 sets. There were some pretty big complaints. There was one person in particular who I shall not name who definitely abused the system and brought 5 copies of the set.
Oh, wow.
He got to draft 5 times, and he had trouble once we started drafting. not entirely surprising, he had trouble remembering all 5 of his numbers. So it would get to number 17. Where's number 17? And he'd be, oh, that's me. You know, so it kept. Other people were sort of upset that he got 5 cracks at each thing.
Yeah.
And the draft kept grinding to a halt at his pick because he just couldn't keep track of all 5 of them.
Picks. Yeah.
So this year they announced ahead of time 1 set per human, no exemptions. So anyway, so I had like $100 in sets I was returning, got 15% off, had like $50 in VIP. So that whittled it down to a smaller number, probably the cheapest I could ever possibly get it. So that's sitting there. Ninjago's Gardens is sitting there, and 2 of the flower sets that I bought for the arts drafts, 2 of them I haven't built yet. So the flower arrangement is waiting to be built. The wildflowers is waiting to be built. So my to be built shelf is at an all-time high at the moment.
Yeah.
But I know that there'll be some slow spots in the semester. Once the semester gets busy, there's days where I'm kind of mentally fried, and I don't have the bandwidth to be creative, so it's a lot more easy just to come home and build a set with instructions. I asked them that if the disaster with that private sub going down to the Titanic had bumped up the Titanic sales.
Oh.
No, I didn't mean like people would buy it but like it gets the Titanic in the news, and it's
yeah.
People are talking about the Titanic, and I thought, well, sometimes it just jogging people's memories might change their buying habits, or might go, yeah, Titanic. I wanted to buy that set. I should go get that.
New gift for purchase with the Titanic. No, forget it.
So I put Moto's in the chat, so I wanted to say I built the Meow Mech Moto, so there it is.
Ooh.
The official Moto Meow Mech with the Meow driver.
And Moto, we got 2 new Meows at my house today.
They're not mechs, though. Not yet, at least.
They're actual Meows.
You have to build them mechs.
That's true. I do build the mechs. One for Luke, one for Leia.
Aubrey's got lots of questions tonight. Are you all going to other cons this year? Matt?
I just told the people at Brick Slopes that I'm going to Brick Slopes. I haven't bought my ticket yet. I haven't bought the admission, but I've committed to going to Brick Slopes.
And I'm doing Bricks in the Six in 2 weeks in Toronto, and then Brickomanie in Laval, Quebec in the end of September. I think it is September 20th or 22nd, somewhere in that range. So I'm keeping Canadian until Atlanta BrickCon, and then I'll be back in the States.
Yeah, I don't have it in the budget for the rest of the year to go anywhere else. So, because I'm still paying for Brick World this month. So,
yeah, it's crazy how expensive it gets.
Hey, Mark, if you have the Crabulon handy, Entertainingly Lame wants to see what it looks like.
Yeah, I gave him the hashtag for Instagram because it's buried in a box somewhere over here.
It's not proudly displayed right behind you.
No, it's in my box that I take when we do displays and things. I put the Crabulons out with all of my space creations on the table.
Whoa, I didn't realize Entertainingly Lame lived in New Zealand. That's pretty cool.
Did you get that? I didn't even read that.
He posted and said there's a new Lego store in the South Island in New Zealand, and it got slammed.
Oh, yeah, there. Now I see it. Okay. That was a while ago. Sorry. And now I'm going to Instagram to search for a hashtag Hail Crabulon. Crabulon. Oh my God, my brain isn't working.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at little kitties cleaning each other right now.
It's adorable. Thomas is like, "Are you going to put the kitties on your live stream tonight?" I'm like, "I'm not going to like walk the camera downstairs and make the kitties look at the." I was like, "There'll be other opportunities.
There'll be cat butt in the future. Don't worry about that."
Yeah, there's plenty of. Yeah. They're just trying to get used to the house and the people. I'm like, I'm not gonna turn them in to celebrity stars the very first day. Thomas is like, "Could we get an Instagram channel just for our cat pics?" And I'm like, "Sure." Why not? One of my friends has an Instagram just for his corgi. It's called Ladkey the Corgi, and he just posts the dog. So,
Oh, jeez.
Aubrey, are you going to another convention?
Yeah.
So you asked the question, so we'll turn that back around. Are you planning to go anywhere else?
And is anybody? Well, I was going to say, is anybody in chat at Brick Rodeo right now? But then I realized, no, if you're at Brick Rodeo, you're probably not in the chat.
She says I am. She probably doesn't want to tell us so that her mini stalkers can't find go there. So we'll keep your secret, Aubrey. Brick Fair. Now your secret's out. I'm sorry. Brick Fair's a lot of fun though. I had a great time. I was kind of brainstorming with Thomas about next summer, and I was looking at the calendar exhibition, and so Brick Fair is the first weekend in August, and Bricks in the Sixth is the second to last weekend in July. And I said, if they're the same, if they're 2 weeks apart like they were this summer, we could go up to Toronto, maybe go up to Montreal, drive through upstate New York, and then head down to Virginia, and then from Virginia go back home. So that's a maybe for next summer. So maybe we'll do the both of those shows in late July and early August.
That'd be cool.
It would.
Yeah.
We had such a good time on our extended road trip this summer that
Even the camping?
okay, not the camping. We are no longer camping people. 2 back surgeries for him and me getting older. I mean, truthfully, if it was just me, I could gut it out doing the camping. We would try to get a more comfortable air mattress or something. But with him having back surgeries, and he was hurting pretty good, and I don't want to put him through that ever again. So that's done. We're not going to be doing camping anymore. But we do have time because he doesn't punch a clock, and I'm teaching online in the summer. We can do like 3 weeks on the road again, as long as we can bear to be away from our adorable kittens.
Oh, geez.
That'll be the part.
Yeah, I'm planning. This is future planning, but I'm 50 in 2025.
Yeah.
So my goal is to get to Billund in 2025. I would love to do Scarabek, but I don't know if I can actually swing, manage to get into Scarabek. But I definitely want to go to Billund on the year of my 50th birthday.
So will you explain to anybody? I'm almost certain that at least a few people tune in might not know what Scarabek is and where it is.
Yeah. So Scarabek is in a little town near Billund, I think 45 minutes away-ish, called Scarabek. And it's a campsite that has a bit of a couple of gyms. And it used to be, from what I know, the Lego company used to actually run the event. They've now farmed it out to someone else, but they still support it in some way. And it's basically, because it's a campsite, it is actually not camping tents. They actually have like yurts or little cottages that sleep 6 people per cottage. And the whole idea with Scarabek is you sign up ahead of time, like you get put into a lottery, and you kind of get, if you're chosen, then you kind of get put into one of those cabins with 6 or 5 other people or 4 other people, depending on how many people are in your group. And you hang out with them for the 3 or 4 days weekend. What I've heard is they tend to keep you it tends to go by country usually. So everybody brings their flags and they hang flags outside of all the cabins and stuff. And you basically, if you want to go hang out with the Germans, you go over to the Germany cabins, right? And stuff like that. So it's kind of, it's like late October or like mid to late October that it happens. And they also have some things like there is some kind of a tour of the Lego facilities that you do one of the days and stuff like that, or you can opt in to do for one of the days. But that's what I've gotten from it. I don't know if that's still all the same post-COVID, but that was kind of like the pre-COVID description of it. So it's just one of those things. Even if you can't do that, even just going to the Lego house and maybe trying to get some kind of connection with some of the employees there that we know nowadays to see if we can get some kind of a, a small factory tour or something equivalent. I don't know. I don't know if they're doing that anymore, but without paying the $5,000 US to do the factory tour.
So it's Lego camp for adults.
Pretty much. And the gyms aren't that huge, so there are displays that go on. Obviously, people bring their stuff to the displays, but they tend not to be as large. Like, I mean, it's literally a gym floor, so I don't know how many square feet a gym is, but I think there's two gyms in the building side by side, or they're two different domes or whatever. So it's a smaller event for mocks and stuff, but it's more just the experience of going and being kind of in the middle of nowhere with a bunch of new nerds. Yeah, I think the factory tour is about 5,000 butt chop. That's the last I heard. I don't know what the actual going price is, but I heard it was 5,000. That could just be me converting to Canadian, but I'm now typing in.
I think that's about right. It's quite pricey, so that's about, you could buy about 12 Titanics for that price.
Or 50 Galaxy Explorers.
There you go. That's right.
Because that used to be our currency last year.
Currency of measurement, Galaxy Explorers.
The inside tour, Lego inside tour. I'm just quickly Googling to see how much it costs. But yeah, one of these days, my goal is.
No, that sounds like a great birthday celebration idea, especially if you're, for people like us who enjoy the Lego.
Yeah, and I mean, if I'm going to Europe, then I'm going to stay for a week or two and at least tour Europe, right? I'm not going to just do that.
Now, do you still have family?
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming you still have family.
Yeah, I've got I'd say 70 to 80% of my parents, brothers and sisters, are still located. I mean, the ones are alive, I should probably say. But yeah, we only had my dad had two brothers here, and I think he had 8 brothers and sisters in his family, and my mom had 13. She was one of 13. So I have lots of family in Holland. I could technically go there and hang out and stay with some of them, or the cousins that I've met, because the parents are a little older now, or the aunts and uncles are a little older now. So, but I don't know. I mean, I would do that for sure, but I don't want to spend that long in. I do want to go to Holland again, but I'd love to just jump on the rails and.
I bet you've been to Holland the most of any other place in Europe.
I went once. I went once when I was 3 and once when I was 15.
So, oh wow, been that long? Okay.
Yeah, I haven't been for many years because I mean,
it's not cheap.
My parents. Yeah, it's not cheap, and my dad's gone a lot more times. Obviously, they used to go every couple of years together with him and my mom, but that hasn't happened for many years now. So.
One of my good friends here in Atlanta, she plays in the hockey leagues with me. She's from Thailand. Well, her parents came from Thailand. She was born here in the States, but both her parents are medical doctors.
Oh.
And so she would been to Thailand a couple of times, but she was taking lessons in Thai just so that she could try to keep up with the conversation. But she's like, you get there and everybody's very excited to see her parents. They're all talking super fast Thai. And she's like, it didn't matter how much I studied.
Yeah. So Lego Inside Tour, I was incorrect about the price. Approximately US $2,200 in 2022.
Okay. Well,
so it's half the price I thought. But I mean, in my head, I'm calculating flights, and you get 2 nights at the hotel. For the Inside Tour, it comes with two nights in the hotel and breakfast, and entry tickets into Legoland.
I mean, if that was a French breakfast, it would be a croissant and 3 cigarettes. But being a Dutch breakfast, it's probably better.
Well, it's not Dutch; it's Danish.
I'm sorry, Danish.
Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah.
But then you got to put airfare on top of that.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's why I automatically just said $5,000, because after airfare and it's only 2 nights. You're not going to just go for 2 nights, right? You're going to go fly into Germany and then go to Denmark and all that stuff, or fly into Denmark. And I think it's the cheapest way to get in is Germany, and then take a small puddle jumper over to Billund directly.
Yeah.
That's what I've heard.
You wouldn't fly to Copenhagen. See, I think Copenhagen would be a really awesome city to visit as well.
I would love to fly to Copenhagen, but I don't think I don't know that there's direct flights to Billund from Copenhagen.
Oh, I see. I would
Yeah,
rent a
when I went to Billund many years ago,
Yeah.
I flew to Germany and then took a smaller plane to Billund.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because Billund does have a small airport.
Yeah. And there's a Lego set that you can buy only there. So
When I was in grad school, my mentor had been a Fulbright on a Fulbright to teach in Denmark for 1 year, and this was in the 1990s when Denmark was getting ready to vote on the Maastricht Treaty or the currency union. And he said, the Danes have a sauna culture where people go get in the sauna, and he said they would talk about the upcoming vote, and he said, from an American perspective, it was extremely civil. Like, people would disagree, but they were very polite. And he said, one of the Danes, after they walked out from the sauna, he was like, well, that was a really heated discussion. Like, being from Texas, I couldn't even hear anybody raise their tone of voice. The cultural differences about what is intense and what is not intense. But so he was talking about, when my advisor was in Denmark, he had 2 school-age children, and they had a desire to go for like a weekend to Switzerland.
Mhm.
But when he talked to some of his Swiss colleagues about it, he's like, the Danes were all like, Switzerland, it's very expensive. And he said, we thought Denmark was very expensive. So when the Swiss started telling us how expensive it was, we were like, oh, maybe not.
Aubrey is saying that a lot of the Utah people are going to Scarebeck this year. Unfortunately, she's not one of them. And Blech is saying that Copenhagen to Billund looks doable on a train for 2 hours and then a bus for 30 minutes. Why fly when you can take a train? I agree. I think it's more just
a great way to travel, at least in Europe.
Yeah, I before my son was born, I was originally planning. My ex and I were at the time, well, wife at the time, were originally planning to go do a European rail pass for like 3 weeks or a month or something like that, where you get the pass and you can go anywhere in Europe on the train, basically for free because you've already bought the pass. Then we got pregnant with my son, so we kind of put that one out and went on a cruise instead of the Caribbean, which, probably not as fun.
Yeah, I've heard that the Eurail unlimited pass has gone up a lot in price.
Oh, has it?
Quite bargain than it once was.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just what
I like for me, it was 17 years ago. So yeah, it's probably got up by that from then.
I had a friend a roommate when I lived in DC, and he did that. I think either like his junior year or after he graduated, he and his best bud, they went over and just did the Eurail for like a month, and they traveled all over Europe. And their return flight was out of Dublin, England. So Dublin, Ireland. Sorry, not England.
Yeah.
And they
For the record, Matt's our map guy.
Yeah, I'm a little tired, but so they're on the train and they're headed. It's before their flight out, and they're comparing notes, and they're like, "Well, we're out of money. There's no money left." So
yeah.
So they were like, "Well, I guess we're just going to sleep in the train station, and then we'll go to the airport in the morning." And he said this old elderly Irish woman was sitting behind them, and she piped up. She goes, "Oh, you boys, I won't hear of it. You'll come sleep in my couch." And she brought them to her house in Dublin, cooked them dinner, and had them spend the night. She goes, "You won't be sleeping in the train station." And they were like, it was the sweetest thing. They've been traveling and having a great time, but they were kind of excited about just going home. And and this very nice Irish woman gave them a place to sleep for the night. So.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think Buttshop's saying it's probably still worth it, even though the price went up, and I would agree. But
yeah, I was over in Italy in 2000. I was in England and Italy in 2001. We rode the Italian train, which my uncle. We asked something about, like, is it true that in Italy the trains don't always run on time. He said, yes, it's very true. So don't be shocked if your train's not there when it's supposed to be there. It's just, he's like, most of the time it works, but not always.
Yeah.
And we rode the train, and what I was not prepared for was the fact that most of northern Italy doesn't have air conditioning.
Okay.
And it's hot in August.
Yeah.
Like, whew, put the windows down on the train.
So maybe going in October isn't a bad idea.
No, especially if you're from north, a colder climate. Yeah, it's hot in summer. It's hot in August.
Yeah.
And all the Italians leave. They all go down to the beach. That's like the national vacation month. And if you, like, we were in Milan because my aunt and uncle lived in Milan. And so we flew in. And my wife at the time, she was like, oh, I kind of wanted to look at some of the fashion shops. They were all closed for the month of August.
Oh, wow.
Because it's vacation season.
Yeah. And sorry, I'm just going to bring it back to Lego. The other reason to fly in through Germany also, or to at least be in Germany, is Legoland Germany / the Lego factory shop that Intense went to recently.
Yeah.
Where you walk in and you can basically get any part that's in production.
Is that right?
Oh yeah, there is lots. If you haven't ever seen it, just Google or on YouTube search for Lego factory store in Germany. There's a bunch of videos of guys walking around, and some of the prices are I think it's priced per 100 gram or something like that.
Okay.
So it's priced by weight in a lot of things, and some things aren't worth it, but there's other things that are just 100% worth it just because you won't be able to get those parts for as cheap as they're available, right?
Cool. Well, I'm going to see him he's hosting our lug meeting at his house later this month. I'll ask him about that.
Yeah. He had some stories. I was jealous.
So it was funny. I bumped into them. So he and his wife flew up to Brickworld just to go as an attendee,
Yep.
not as a presenter. And I walked in, and there he is, and he goes, "Hey, Matt." So, but she was very fun to talk to. I guess I had only really had, she doesn't come to the regular meetings, but I had a really nice conversation with, I guess, Miss Intense. I don't know.
The Lego factory store is still insane. Hab times 1 million. Yeah. Pretty much. And I mean, I think they also have a Lego minifigure store as well, where it's just all the minifigure parts and accessories and stuff. So one's like all brick, one's all minifigs. And he was also saying if you go, you buy a season's pass, even though you're only going to go there the 1 or 2 days, if you buy the season's pass, you get a 20% off your entire purchase for the first time. So if you're ordering or if you're buying $1,000 worth of stuff, it's obviously worth it.
Okay.
And he did, as far as I know, buy $1,000 worth of parts, but
Yeah,
you would be very jealous of his Lego room, Jeff, because he's got a very large castle layout.
Yes, I've seen the Beyond the Brick video of it.
his castle room, which also has a Lego room.
Yeah. But I said maybe next time I'm in Atlanta, maybe I can go check it out in person. So
You should.
Yeah.
Although he is all the way on the other end. He's down.
He's close.
He's down by Electric Company. So
Well, then I'll do both.
yeah, it's like an hour and 10 minutes from.
Yeah. So I don't mind driving out there to do that. As long as hey Matt, you're away, but I'll ask him when I come back. I'm bringing the trailer, but I think there's enough room to park the trailer in his laneway. Oh, we were able to park trailers at the show, right?
I don't recall that.
I remember seeing some trailers off to the far end in the back parking lot.
The parking was sort of weird because they had that garage, and
Yeah.
sometimes it was open and sometimes it wasn't, and I don't know. It was a little weird. So
It was.
perhaps by next year they'll have the hotel finished that's adjoining the convention center.
Oh yeah, that'll be handy. That will definitely.
Because I stayed in a hotel for Atlanta BrickCon, even though I'm local. I live on the opposite side of town, so I stayed in a hotel with Small Paul for the weekend just so that it would save us 2 nights and 2 mornings of driving back and forth.
Yeah. Did someone say castle? Yes, Hope Castle. We were talking about castles. See, army. And I will be bringing my castle to Land of Brickco next year. Or Land of BrickCon. I keep on doing that. BrickCon.
Space.
You call that space, Mark? Space.
That's just what I had next to me.
Okay, fair. Don't hassle me. I'm local. So, but yeah. Are you working on? Do you have plans to build something new for like Atlanta Brickco or Atlanta BrickCon?
There is supposedly some form of new Hashima is going to be built there.
Oh yes, I'd heard that. Yeah.
Meredith has been peer pressuring me to build something, so possibly we'll contribute something to that, and then of course we'll be able to throw together our moon base like we usually do.
Yeah. Moonbase is awesome.
Yeah, we'll have some stuff.
Yeah. I just got a notification of something new on Facebook, and as you were talking, I pulled it up, and it's Matt's cats. They're everywhere. So, I did borrow some air tanks from Brian B to equip ice bears for the space exploration. So I hope Castle was saying. Oh, okay. I remember there was a whole ice bear thing going on at Brickworld.
I don't know if I'm aware of the ice bear thing.
Yeah, I remember hearing about it. I don't remember seeing it. I feel like I didn't see like more than 20% of what was at Brickworld.
Yeah, there was so much going on. I mean, there were people that that after the fact they left comments on my TikToks saying, "Hey, I missed seeing you there," and it was like, well, there was so many people all the time,
Yeah. Yeah, it was overwhelming. And that's why I'm looking forward to the next two cons I'm doing, because they're like, 150, 200 people max. I know the Toronto one's just over 150. I think the one in Quebec is 70 or so, something like that right now for numbers. Which would be nice because it's just a smaller crowd and more chance to talk to people and see everybody's looks.
Yeah.
So.
We had a cat evacuation.
Oh, they needed to get out of the bin, or they got out of the bin?
He said they were trying to get out, so he wanted my help taking them up to his little library room and shut the door.
Okay.
They're exploring every little nook and cranny on the floor. It's quite adorable.
Are they trained?
They've used the litter box already. So
okay,
we have
good.
a little tiny litter box that we put in, and they've successfully used it. So we're
that's good.
We're hopeful.
Yeah. That's always the hardest thing, right? Is to try and.
Yeah.
I was saying that when you walked away, I opened up Facebook because there was a notification, and it was, of course, the same picture I just saw on Instagram.
Yeah.
Your cats, cleaning themselves. But anyway.
I have to say that I was honestly a little surprised at like how many people were like, "Oh my gosh, you got kitties!" And I was like, I mean, I like cats.
Yeah.
The number of friends were like, "They're so adorable." I'm like, okay. I'm glad you're enjoying them too.
Oh well, I mean, I'm seeing them. Yeah, I'm enjoying them. I'm looking forward to saying hi to your cats in February.
Yeah, they'll probably be very social by that point.
Yes, and probably won't hiss at me.
No.
Yeah.
That they probably won't be like Cassie. Well, she was a people person to two people in the whole world, and everybody else could just go
away. Aubrey says, "I hope one of them is named Churro."
Oh, that's a good name.
Well, Aubrey, we are going to go with Luke and Leia because they are twins and white girl. So I kind of tossed that out. I'm the Star Wars household, and Thomas is okay with Star Wars, but he's not like crazy about it. And I was like, I don't want him to feel pressure just because I'm the Star Wars fan. And he kind of molded over, and he's like, no, Luke and Leia, that's pretty awesome, actually. So I think that's going to be their names.
I was going to make a comment about, like, when you said that, you've said that a few times now, and I'm like, why, have they kissed already?
Well, they were grooming each other, and that's when he was like, okay. It's a little, I can kiss a Wookiee or my brother.
See, I would have gone for like brand names, McDonald's and Wendy's. No, you're joking, of course.
Are you going to try to get your cat endorsement so that you know,
endorsements?
lifetime supply of cat food?
You should have tried to get the sponsorship.
There you go.
Yeah, good idea.
And now, I mean, as soon as Disney finds out you named them Luke and Leia, you're going to just be, sued. So
I'm going to be sued, for appropriation. Although they don't know which Luke and Leia, so it could just be a generic. We're not calling them Skywalker, Disney. If your lawyers are watching.
Oh, jeez. Apparently, Butt Chop's really enjoying our non-Lego talk.
Oh, is that right?
Well, I'm sick of live streams that are fake and full of shills. This is what I needed to balance my insanity.
Now, we are a 100% independent show.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
nobody's knocking down our door trying to get us to endorse anything.
No,
Yeah.
we're definitely not sponsored by Lego.
Yeah, Lego has not sent us any free bricks recently.
Well, I mean, technically, Matt might have gotten some in the past year, but that's just because he worked on that Garden Explorer.
Yeah, and they never used it, so I never was able to do a set review. So.
There you go.
I mean, it was all supposed to be a hush hush, and then they never unhushed us. So it's like, oh, thanks for the free Lego. So thanks so long, and thanks for all the fish.
Did you just say thanks for the fish? Did you just make a not Guardians of the Galaxy? Wow,
I did. That was a reference to
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Sorry, I got the Galaxy part right, but I couldn't get the first part. So it's been a day.
Did you see? What was it? The Onion had a spoof piece that said the rest of next year's Marvel movies are exactly what you think they're going to be, said James Gunn. So they decided we're not going to release them, just imagine them in your head.
That's right. Well, yeah. That was the Marvel movies?
Yeah, it was a spoof.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
They're so formulaic that you can just anticipate what's going to happen. And then I don't think they're that formulaic. So we went and saw the Wes Anderson Asteroid City on Monday or Tuesday night. And we're pretty big Wes Anderson fans in general. I think I've enjoyed every one of his movies. This one was very story within a story within a story. You have a narrator who's talking about a movie, and then there's the actors who play the characters in the movie. So there's like 3 layers to it. Okay. And ton of famous people with cameos. I mean, almost everyone who's ever been in a Wes Anderson movie before makes a cameo appearance at some point. It's a little weird. I would go for opening night of Barbie.
Yeah. I'm assuming I won't be with you guys for opening night of Barbie though, because that's a little ways to drive. But
when does it open, Audrey?
I think
looked it up.
I think it's July 25th in my head. I don't know if that's the right date.
Okay.
I could be wrong.
Yeah, I would definitely go for that. Ryan Reynolds as Ken. It's like, seeing him with like bleach blonde hair.
Ryan Gosling.
Ryan Gosling.
Yeah. One
of the Ryans.
I think Ryan Reynolds has actually voiced something in there, I think, but I'm not 100% sure. That might have been something else I heard his voice in recently. But
I texted the picture of the Barbie mansion, the Malibu Barbie mansion to my friend Shannon today, and I was like, now I want to build it out of Lego. It looked very plastic. I don't know how they did it, but it looked like a plastic toy, but it's an actual full-scale building.
Oh, July 21st. Okay.
So that's probably like
that weekend,
Thursday. But that's the Thursday before our lug meeting, I think. So
there you go.
Aubrey, if you want to go, message me. We can make a hot platonic date out of it and go. I'm sure my husband would be up for it too. It looks kitschy enough that it looks funny. It looks fun fun, to be honest. I mean, it's kind of wink, wink. Yeah, we know we're like this pink plastic doll toy, and we're going to make a movie around it.
It's got quite the cast too.
Is that right? I haven't even.
Yeah, there's a lot of famous people in the cast that are just even like other Barbies and Kens type thing, because there's multiple of them. So I've seen some names in there. I'm like, wow, they're in that? Okay.
My sister was never big into that, but just enough that I'm familiar with the toys.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Aubrey says you can have an old pink bricks outing for the night.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, because that's what.
Or a sand red outing.
Yeah,
sand red.
But we've just crossed 9 o'clock, and I think we're gonna wrap it up. But thanks to everybody in the chat for joining us this evening and hanging out. And it's been kind of a chill night on Old Gray Bricks. We didn't really have a lot of people or a lot to talk about, but that's all right. It's, a lot of people are busy with their summertime, so we had sort of a laid back show and relaxing conversation. So thanks everybody for joining us. Monday we will have, who are our guests, Matthew, on Monday?
Yeah, so the winners of the best small collaborative from Brickworld, and they did a 3-panel X-Men cover that was 3-dimensional. And so it's EJ Boken, and Jason, and the guy's name, I have it on my Instagram. The three people who made it will be joining us on Monday the 10th.
Yeah, so Monday's show we will be talking to mosaic builders, so that will be interesting. We talk about how they built their mosaics and look at some pictures, and that'll be fun. So anyway, everybody have a wonderful weekend and join us on Monday. And Matthew Scott.
Yeah, so it's Larry Lippert, Jesse Moeller, and EJ Bocan. So those are the 3. They each did a panel of a Marvel comic book, and it was gorgeous. I literally stood it was on the other side of my mosaic. So I talked to a lot of people who were enjoying theirs as they came in.
Yeah, it was very cool. Mm-hmm. So we'll be talking to them on Monday. So everybody come on back Monday and hang out with us. But have a great weekend, and we will see you later.
Bye.